Jan Orge Furtov has confirmed that he believes a deadline is now in place for Erling Haaland to join Chelsea Football Club. He has stated that he believes that as the German Cup final is being played this forthcoming weekend, this is the week for Chelsea to work out what offer they think is going to be acceptable, to make the official bid, and to try and turn and create the biggest transfer in the history of the English Premier League and bring the Norwegian superstar to the Premier League from Borussia Dortmund. Do the panel on the Transfer Predictor show tonight think that is going to happen? We're also going to be covering off Kieran Trippier to Manchester United. Reports that Atletico Madrid are going to give permission for Man United to have direct contact with Kieran Trippier and negotiate personal terms. If personal terms can be agreed, Atletico Madrid are willing to sit with Manchester United and negotiate the correct price. They're asking for well over 30 million. Manchester United currently only willing to offer around 18 million pounds, but they are willing to negotiate should Kieran Trippier agree personal terms. We're also going to be covering Lautaro Martinez to Arsenal. What does Jess, who's on with us tonight, and the rest of the panel think is going to happen with that deal? We're also going to touch on the big trending story for the past 24 hours. Saul Niguez, where is he going to end up this summer? Plus, we want your super chats as well. We want your super chats. We want your member chats. We want to know what you think is going to happen in these deals and for you to question us and say, give us a suggestion. Transfer A, transfer B. It could be what's going to happen with Harry Kane, what's going to happen with Jack Grealish. We want your questions and we will debate and answer them live on the show tonight. Also, make sure you stay with us. We're going to be giving you more details about a brand new fantasy league that the Football Terrace are launching with our partners, where we are going to give away £1 million in cash to the participants of this fantasy league. And I repeat that, £1 million British sterling cash to some of the participants, with a whopping £200,000 grand prize for the winner of the fantasy league with our partners. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that share button. Here we go. Welcome back, everyone. Look at this gorgeous panel. I mean, this is a gorgeous, gorgeous panel we have on tonight. Honestly, it gets better and better. We start off at Jem and you end at me. It just gets progressively more gorgeous, more handsome, more stylish. Like, literally, it's like, look at it. It's absolutely pucker, barring the Scouser. If we didn't have the Scouser in here, we could all be on Love Island. You know, if we had no self-dignity, we could be on Love Island. We could do it. We could really, really do it. So, how are we all tonight, ladies and gents? Yeah. I'll start with Jess first. Ladies first, how are you?
I'm good. I can't complain. Yeah, I'm good. Not really interested in talking about Martinez because you know how I feel about it, but I can give my opinion on the other things.
She's such a duck it. You really are ducking it, aren't you?
It's not happening.
Oh no, we will get onto that a little bit later, no doubt about it at all. Your hair's looking nice, by the way. I'm liking the style. Are you getting it done for any specific reason, if I can speak?
No, just for me. Yeah, just trying to look. Well, I wore a bun for like 2 months, so I was tired of that. So no.
So lazy.
No, you don't. Yeah. So yeah, but I'm happy to be able to go to the hairstylist again and look like a human. So yeah, but thank you.
It's not for a date. It's not for a certain gentleman or lady or anything. No.
What are you saying? No. I'm done.
See if I can make you blush, and I think it's worked. There we go. But gentlemen, how are we all doing, geezers? We all good? How are you, little geezer Tom? You all right, mate?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right.
How are you, big geezer Jim?
Yeah, just shitting myself about this Haaland stuff, but we're going to get into it.
That is where we are going to. A lot of people talk about your guns, by the way, your big Mahusif arms as well, bro. They're looking sleek, brother. They are looking good. They are good. Tom, show us your arm. Show us your muscles.
I'm all right. You know, they're a bit too tired today. Don't.
I'm not going to get mine
tiredness.
out. Honestly, I've got like dad bod. So if I flex my arms, it just goes the other way. It's like bingo wings. So I'm definitely not going to do that. But we're going to start off by talking about Haaland. I'm going to quote Jan Fjortov here. He said, I think this regarding the deadline, he says, I think this week, because of the German Cup final being next weekend. He's also said in the last few days that he believes the situation will be resolved in the next 7 to 10 days. That was 3 days ago, so there's basically a week. So the question I want to pose to you all, and I'm going to start with Jem on this one. Do you see the transfer deal, whether it completes or ends, do you see it being resolved this week?
Yes, I've been saying this for weeks. I think not only for Dortmund. I know Jan came out with a comment today about the German Cup starting and that, and then moving forward. But just for Chelsea, I don't think Chelsea. I know with the German transfers it don't end till the 31st of August, but I just don't see Chelsea going into the new season without actually having a striker. I don't think Tuchel would want that. I think Tuchel would like to at least have them there at the beginning, at least from now till the 10th of August, at least have someone in mixing with the players pre-season. We've got a Super Cup on the 11th against Villarreal, which is an important cup, something that we will want to win as well. I would expect us to at least get some sort of idea on whether he will be either a Chelsea player or not by at least the latest by the end of this week. I agree. We'll have to see.
How about yourself, Jess? I don't know. Chelsea fans seem really split on this one. There is this. Some people feel that it's going to go to the end of the summer. Others, like Jem, think that this will be the decisive week. What's your take on the situation?
I feel like it would take longer. Like, I just think it's such a big deal that I know people are saying that it will get done within the next week, or you'll know something about it in the next week. But it just feels like something that's going to take a little bit longer. I've never known Dortmund to, just kind of concede. They usually make things a little bit more difficult. You would know with the whole Sancho thing, it's not that easy dealing with them because they want the best possible deal for themselves and they will wait, So I think because it's such a big transfer that it may take a little bit longer than just next week. But I can't see Chelsea not getting this player in. Like, they have to do something. They have to respond. They need to resolve that center forward situation. So I expect him to go to Chelsea, but I don't think it'll be resolved next week, if that makes sense. I just think it'll take a little bit longer because it's such a big deal and it's quite complicated as well.
Dude, just quickly, we'll just say, when I said what I said earlier, it wasn't that I expected the deal to be done next week. It was more of just actually having a direction.
More concrete, more concrete information.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, that's what I want. Maybe.
I think what's interesting about that, both those takes, is this, that we saw with Sancho. The Euros slowed it down, but the announcement was made that an agreement had been reached. He had his after England came out of the Euros, within a day or so, he had the medical and everything else. And then it took about 11, 12 days for it to be announced. So in terms of formal announcements from Chelsea, 100%, I don't see that happening. As in, here he is holding a shirt, signing a bit of paper. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of the work's already happened. And what's interesting is the outcome is going to look one of two ways. It's either going to be a successful first-time bid for Chelsea, signed him, or there'll be nothing. And then what will happen is Chelsea, it will be silent, and then Chelsea will sign some players, and then people will keep asking about it. Or there'll be like a statement saying that Chelsea are not pursuing the deal. They feel there's too much money. I think it's going to be just one of those two answers, because Chelsea are not going to ever have it come out they put a bid in that was rejected. It's just never going to happen. And I think that would actually suit Dortmund as well, because if Dortmund haven't officially turned down £150 million, they don't have to look shareholders in the face at a meeting when in a year's time they're only going to get £65 million for him. So it's going to be an interesting one to see how it plays out. Ram, from your point of view, do you see Chelsea pulling this deal off irrespective of this deadline that's been set?
I don't think so. I mean, in my opinion, I think we all knew last season Haaland was so important for Dortmund getting Champions League, let alone fighting for the league. If Haaland wasn't there, I think they wouldn't even get Europa League football. My main issue is whether it'll take too long that Dortmund can't find a replacement in time for him. And I feel it doesn't seem realistic enough for Dortmund to let two of their star players go. You know what I mean? Like Jaden, they already let Jaden Sancho go to Manchester United. I can't see them doing that to their other star player, which is Erling Haaland. And I think I think Champions League money is the most important thing for them. So I think they'll wait it out for next summer, and then a whole host of clubs will come in and bid for him.
Interesting. Tom, how about yourself?
Well, I don't know when the deadline is. It'll probably be similar to last year, like August 10th, August 11th, something like that. And we know that when Dortmund set a deadline, Dortmund stick to a deadline, even if it means they'll lose out on money. I think if I was Chelsea, I'd be desperate to get over the line, because right now you're the only one in for him. You're his number one target. If you let it go for another year, there's a chance that when it comes round, you're definitely going to have more competition, and he may have been swayed by another club. Maybe they've offered him a different financial package. Maybe they're a better sporting option than you. But right now, if you can get it done now, you've got no competition. It's just you. If you wait, you allow the teams to build their sort of pitch to him, build their process of getting him, and then there's a chance that he turns you down because he doesn't see his future there.
And I think that is the risk. And there's report today that Man United, could go in for him next year. He's obviously been speaking about his kind of admiration and the joy that he felt playing with and with Sancho, etc. And I've seen a lot of comments from Chelsea fans on socials. That's the worry. If they don't pull it off this summer, somebody else comes in from next year. And the world of football can look a very different place in 12 months. That's the crazy thing about it. Arsenal could come second and look brilliant, and then suddenly they're in the race. I know everyone, but you say it and everyone will laugh. But at the end of the day, you listen to the experts on this deal. A year ago, Haaland would not have considered Chelsea. He wanted a legacy club with a long history. You winning your second Champions League and suddenly looking brilliant, it changed his mind. Almost. Listen, Eden Hazard. If you guys hadn't have won that Champions League and qualified for it, a lot of the talk is that he wouldn't have joined you. So you say because of one competition win or because of what a season does to Club A versus Club B, it can change the world massively. So it will certainly be an interesting one to see how this transpires. Viewers, we want your thoughts and feelings on this. Do you believe this week will be the deadline for Chelsea Football Club to sign Haaland and make him a Chelsea player next season? We want your thoughts. We want your feelings. Make sure you're smashing the like button and subscribing right now to the Football Terrace as we close in on 205,000 subscribers. The growth in the past month has been amazing. So massive thank you to each and every single one of you that's subscribed new to us. Make sure that bell notification is turned on as well. Lautaro Martinez to Arsenal is... that's the response a lot of people have towards it, is to laugh a little bit. So I'm going to come to you again first on this, Jim. They are linked with it. It is a deal that's on. It is a deal that's active. It is a deal that has moved into advanced conversations. Inter Milan are willing to sell at the right price. They want to sell him, ironically, because your target, Lukaku, is more important for them to keep, and they believe they raised the money through the sale of Martinez, their financial woes are resolved, thus they can keep Lukaku, which is interesting because that just also goes to prove that all the nonsense about him definitely not being for sale is also crap. Those two stories, both coming from the Inter camp, contradict one another. Arsenal are now talking to Martinez, trying to convince him to join. Now, there have been reports from the very reliable David Ornstein that he would be open to joining Arsenal. Now, that's not Joe Bloggs, a desk journalist from The Sun or the Daily Star. That is David Ornstein. Jem, but your opinion, can Arsenal pull off what, in my opinion, would be the biggest transfer coup of the summer?
Be nice, Jem.
I'm laughing about it because I'm trying to mentally prepare to what I'm about to say. But Martinez to Arsenal, I'm just trying to think of it from Martinez's perspective, right? What does he benefit from leaving Inter Milan and going to Arsenal? I just don't get why you would want to take that step as an individual. A player that scored 20 plus goals last season. I think the season before he scored 16 or 17 goals. He's a goal scorer, he will bring goals to Arsenal. But I just don't get why him as an individual would want to make that step. The next thing is, will Arsenal pay the money required for someone like Martinez? I don't know. And do we know, Terry, do we know roughly how much they actually want for him? Or do Arsenal know about this yet?
Across the multiple reports that I've read and
Yeah.
things have been told, it varies between 65 and 75 million pounds. Now,
If they do, yeah. go on.
they wouldn't pay it. They spent similar funds on Pepe. They bid around 100 million pounds back in 2016, maybe 2017, for Thomas Lamar. I don't exactly remember. I think it was 2017 on the deadline day. So Arsenal have that money to spend. Ram, can Martinez be convinced to join the Emirates Stadium and Arteta this summer?
I mean, first of all, Jem, I thought you were being too nice there. Honestly, I think you're being too nice.
Yeah, I didn't finish. I was going to finish, but go on.
Oh,
sorry, Jem.
Well, if you look at
sorry,
look at both clubs, Inter, Arsenal, which is a bigger club. Obviously, Inter Milan is a bigger club than Arsenal Football Club. I think Martinez, if Arsenal do come in and make a bid and they Inter accept it, it just takes one bigger club to come in and Lautaro Martinez will be swayed away. Arsenal aren't even playing UEFA Conference League, let alone Champions League or Europa League. So any bigger club that comes in, or even a better club, Martinez's head is going to be swayed. It's as simple as that. Arsenal don't have the pulling power that they had 20 years ago. It's as simple as that. So Arsenal fans, you just have to hope and pray that no one else comes in, because Martinez is a very talented player. I mean, he could play for Manchester City. So just have to hope and pray. Hope and pray.
Jess,
Yeah.
I saw your tweet today. Very negative tweet when you first wake up to read, oh, why is everyone linking? You are legitimately trying to sign him. Can you see this getting done?
No, I can't. And quite frankly, like based on what I saw today, can we please address the midfield? Like, who's actually going to get the ball to Martinez? That's a big issue that I have, is that I can see us trying to do some panic buy and buy some player that's going to make the Arsenal fan base sit up and be like, wow, this is amazing. But ultimately, our squad building is horrendous. If we buy a striker now with Aubameyang still here and young players in the pipeline, but Emile Smith-Rowe is the only attacking midfielder that you have, and your midfield is not addressed. Like, I just don't see it. Like, the reason why Aubameyang is so bad is because he's not getting enough chances, because we don't create them. So although I think that this would be like an amazing signing, of course I would want him. Like, I think that's the misconception, is if you say we're not going to get him, that you don't like the player. I think he's great. The issue is, well, one, I don't know if he fits our system, but that's like a whole longer conversation. But just singularly, like, I don't see why we would go after this player now, unless it was some panic buy that they're like, we need to make the fans happy. But ultimately we're sitting there asking ourselves why he can't get the ball, but it's Emile Smith-Rowe, El Neni, and Granit Xhaka in the midfield. Like, do you know what I'm saying? So I don't see it getting done from that perspective, because we still need to address the midfield. But just convincing him to come, I think, would be difficult, especially if Atletico Madrid is in the picture, because that feels like a better choice for him. Like, if I'm him, like, realistically, I know this sounds bad, I'd probably rather go there. Like, you know what I mean? So it's one of those, right? Like, I don't see it done.
I think he will go Arsenal, but I only think he will go Arsenal if you're going to offer him a huge wage packet.
And that's what we would have to do that.
And if you do that, I don't think he goes there, and I don't think he. I'll be careful.
He doesn't go there for the love.
It could shoot me in the foot in the long run, but I don't think he scores as many goals as he's scoring for Inter Milan at Arsenal.
Well, there's multiple reasons why that wouldn't happen. You know, one of them being like what you guys are saying, he doesn't love the club. But I mean, let's be real. Like, most players, they don't go to places that they love. They go to the best place for them. And a lot of times money has a lot to do with that. Yeah. It's true. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. But if we're going to have to spend double the wages or give somebody a ridiculous wage package and basically pay them to come to Arsenal Football Club, I'm sorry. I'd rather it be James Maddison than Lautaro Martinez, because I need somebody to get the ball to Aubameyang. Like, I don't need another striker, and then we can't create chances. So I just feel it's not going to happen. That's just me. I get that, like, maybe Edu and Arteta want to look like they're really going after big players. They're really trying to like, throw their weight around, but like ultimately time's ticking. Like, we need to address that midfield, so that's pretty much where I stand on that.
But Jess, you got the likes of Xhaka, Partey, Elneny, Tierney, who's apparently better than Robertson. You got these players.
Yeah.
So you don't really. I think Lautaro Martinez is the missing piece. Like, you got good players. I don't think he can score a load of goals with the players that he's around.
We need to fix our midfield. Like, that is 100%. I mean, even right back, like, we have more pressing issues, and we've done this before. We bought Lacazette, and then we turned around and bought Aubameyang, and we're still trying to figure out why we can't.
You'd have to sell one of them anyway, Jess. Surely, if you're bringing in Martinez, I'm surely a Lacazette goes.
I'm just saying the squad building issue is that you buy big on a player, and then you don't have the facilities to actually make that investment work for you. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, if you have an attacking midfielder, but that person's really good, and they can feed Aubameyang, who is still a really good striker, he's just in bad form. I'd prefer that than a dead midfield that can't get an $80 million, acquisition going. You see what I'm saying?
I understand a lot of what everyone's saying.
It's a waste.
You are looking at your midfield at the same time, though. And my point would be this. Say you can't land the one or two midfielders you're going for. That doesn't mean you shouldn't still sign the striker of your dreams, because then you can address the midfield next year. Like, you're probably not going to sign all your targets. It's like, we know with Chelsea, their main thing was a striker in Haaland. And by the way, Haaland isn't joining Chelsea for love. He's joining something else. Definitely ain't love. And that happens with a lot of players. Jesse's bang on with
win trophies, mate.
Well, trophies is part of it, absolutely. But I think with Martinez, there's this element of, I do get your point, Jess. I just look at it from the angle of, I don't see why you'd cut your nose off to spite your face. But Chelsea, the example I was going to give is Haaland's their number one target. If they can't get him, your logic suggests, well, don't sign Kounde or Declan Rice either then, because we needed a striker more.
No. I mean, I guess because I feel like maybe you think we have more money than I do. I feel like we have just enough for one more position, maybe two, but I think we only have enough for like one more. We just spent 50 million on Ben White, so I'm going a little bit more conservative. And when I'm thinking, okay, we have about 60 million or so to spend on one player, just one, I want it to be a midfielder. I don't want it to be a striker. See what I'm saying?
I do. No, I get that. That makes more sense. I think what's interesting is, of course, what Arteta said after the game today. He obviously stated that sorry, I was reading something. Jack is gonna stay now.
Yeah.
And maybe Aouar, 20 million. Martinez, 70 million. Tom, what do you see happening, mate?
I actually do see Martinez joining Arsenal. I could see it happen. I mean, there's some of the reports that say Inter Milan are after Bellerin. Maybe he's introducing the swap deal to try and bring the price down a bit. But I could see it happening. I could see Aubameyang being played off the left with Saka and Pepe off the right. And I could see Martinez as a individual realising he's going to get Premier League wages, top Premier League wages, and it's a stepping stone. He will see Arsenal at this present moment in time as a stepping stone in his career to go on to a Barcelona or a Manchester City. And he might be thinking, if I just go to the Premier League, I go be the main man at Arsenal, maybe have a couple good seasons in the Prem, that'll be where the big club comes in then. But I don't think he's going there with Arsenal as the pinnacle of his career.
I'm okay with that as well, too. Like, I'm fine with that. Like, I'm not tripping. Like,
that's Arsenal's approach this summer, though. If you think about everybody that you've signed, that can be said about all of them. It's a double-edged sword. It's all these players you've signed are tipped in their various countries and where they're from to be stars. If they become stars but Arsenal don't improve, they move on to a club in a better situation. We won't get into who's bigger because that creates a different debate, but clubs in a better contemporary situation. And if they improve and become the players you want them to be, and Arsenal improve, then everyone who's a gooner is a winner. That's why I don't see it as a bad option for any of these players that are linked with Arsenal. Because if Arsenal don't improve, they'll just get out and move themselves on. Nice little 4-year deals, 2 years in, say they're not going to sign anything, and they'll be forced to sell them on anyway. But that's what we think, ladies and gentlemen. I want your views on that deal. Lautaro Martinez. Sorry, I keep saying Martinez, but it's Martinez to Arsenal. Do you see it going through? Get your comments in now. Get your super chats in as well, ladies and gentlemen. Smash the living daylights out of that like button. The next deal I want to speak about, Saul Niguez. Saul Niguez, of course, the news have gone mad in the last 24 hours. And, we spoke about this, I think, Wednesday, Thursday. The talks between Niguez's camp and Liverpool had progressed to an advanced stage where they were trying to negotiate and push down the wage demands that the player has. And when we say wage demands, let's have this right, because the narrative needs to be very correct here, because I know elements of communist Merseyside are already trying to twist it. He's not asking for extortionate amounts of money. He's asking to not take a pay cut. So put that into our form. Imagine you earn £50,000 a year doing your job, and a bigger and more prestigious company want you to come and do that exact same job, but say we're only going to pay you 25 grand a year. You're not greedy for at least demanding you're paid the same amount of money, right? So Saul Niguez isn't being greedy. Saul Niguez isn't trying to haggle his way to earning like extortionate money. He's currently on 300,000 euros a week. He wants to be paid somewhere in that region to move to also a much wealthier and richer league. So the money's higher. Man United also looking at him as well. Man United have not moved into advanced conversations yet. That is predicted to happen this week. Ram, where do you think Saul Niguez is going to end up?
I only think I think he'll go to Liverpool. Honestly, I'm not being biased or anything, but is he my first choice? Personally, not for me. I don't think he's my first choice. But that's another conversation for another day. But yeah, we've done the due diligence, and I think Liverpool will try and get him on a lower wage, and I think they might come to an agreement in the end. Whether it's going to be the same wage or whether it's anything, I think Liverpool will get the job done. Probably next week.
I can't let you off the hook because I can't let you off the hook at all. Why isn't he? How have you got the audacity to say that Saul Niguez, one of the best players in the league over the last 4 to 5 years, is not good enough for your midfield?
No, I think there's someone better. I think they're better.
Keita.
I never say Keita. James putting words into my mouth. I never say Keita.
Hey, who's better though?
I personally, for me, I think a Marcel Sabitzer is better. Will be better for us. I think. Wait, what do you mean?
Whoa. Bear in mind, our midfield aren't allowed to create.
Ram, you just
our
dropped
midfield are not allowed to create. Why would
Marcel
we go?
Sabitzer, hang on. Marcel Sabitzer in the last year hasn't been asked to create that much. He's asked to be a workman for Leipzig and Austria. So he knows how to play in that Klopp system, and plus he can do more than he's asked to do. So he has the capabilities of being that workman-like midfielder, but also he can create and score from distance.
I'm sure Saul Niguez can do the same though, bro. He plays under a Simeone.
He can't shoot.
Simeone is very system based. You know that, Ram. We've seen him. So at the end of the day, I don't get this whole system thing. Oh, he's a better system player over there, so that means he will just come into the Klopp system and it will work. I don't think that's the case, mate.
I think for me, Sabitzer has more tools and strings on his bow than Saul. Saul's a better technically gifted player, but Sabitzer has more strings to his bow.
Wow. Okay.
We'll agree to
he can shoot better. His dribbling not that bad as people think it is. He's a better. I think his passing is around about the same. I think they're both. I think he has more strings to his bow.
There's a reason why he's like 15 million and nobody's going after him. I mean, I like Sabitzer. I'm actually shocked that you said that. I thought you were going to say Basuma. You said Sabitzer.
Basuma's also on that list. But Sabitzer, I think Sabitzer will be very good for us.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I think Basuma is the better all-round midfielder for Liverpool. From what you want and what Klopp requires in his system, he's the better box to box. He's the better sort of chaser. He's probably better.
By the way, he can also play wing. He can play in multiple positions. He can play on the wing. He can play false nine. He can play centre midfield. He can play as a cam. And if you really, really need him, he can play as a CDM because he's that disciplined.
Yeah, but Saul Niguez is very versatile as well. He plays on the wing. He's been an attacking.
Yeah.
Not as much of an attacking threat than
Saul Niguez.
Sabitzer.
Saul Niguez is twice the player that Sabitzer is, right? So he's in Germany, right? He's in Germany killing it. Like, I think he's talented, right? He's in Germany killing it. Where are all the German boys after him? Why none of the German boys trying to sign him?
That's true.
He's loyal.
Where's the queue of
There's a
people?
reason Barca after him.
Where is the queue of people lining up to sign Marcel Sabitzer? Where are they? Jesse's bang on. Where are they? You're literally,
That's
you're
10 million,
the
bro.
president.
You could also say there wasn't a queue of people for Robertson.
You're the president and only member of his fan club, right? What is going on here? He's talented, but Saul Niguez level. You're having a mare.
Nah. I think people have a wrong impression of Saul Niguez. I think people are going to be expecting too much of him. I'll be happy. I'll be incredibly happy if we get Saul. But the thing that people want for in our midfield, he don't do that. He don't do that.
I just want a Wijnaldum replacement. I'm not expecting to light the world alight with 15 goals a season. I just want someone who can slot in, cover our fullbacks who are our chief creators, and when the opportunity arises, maybe make a late run, maybe go on a little nice dribble, create an opportunity off their own back, which is what Saul can do. Because I've got Thiago next to him to be the chief creator as a midfielder in terms of picking out the passes, maybe having an occasional long shot. We know he's got great technique for that. But you've got Trent and Robertson, who are the creators in this team. And then your right centre mid, and probably more so the defensive midfielder, now that we've got Thiago, who's going to be a bit more free roaming, are there to make sure that when they bomb on, there's cover behind them. And Saul, he's played on the wing for Simeone in a very defensive system, so he knows how to cover out wide positions. I have no issue. I reckon he could cover it right back if we need them to.
So does Sabitzer in the Nagelsmann system.
Ram, sorry, I'm getting angry now. What you're not listening to is that we're talking about Saul Niguez. We're talking about a Range Rover. We're talking about a Lambo Jeep.
We're talking about someone who was going to be traded for Griezmann, who was a world-class striker, and Sabitzer for 15 million, who's got exactly no one.
Tom just ruined my fucking analogy right in the middle of it. It's all right. It's gone there.
If you look at the stats for Sabitzer and Saul in the last couple of years, then it tells a story.
Oh, here we go. It's stats now, isn't it?
I'm not surprised Sabitzer has better stats. Diego Simeone's team don't attack.
Goals and assists.
We don't need our midfielders getting goals and assists, though.
But the majority of his goals is not in the inside of the box; it's in the outside of the box.
But he's not going to be there.
What's his role then? So hang on a minute. You've gone and right down yourself. You've sat on this show. You've sat on this show many times, defending Genie, defending Jordan, and it's like, oh, they don't need goals and assists because that's not their role. That isn't their role. Now suddenly, goals and assists are what count. You've done yourself, mate. You've honestly done yourself, Jess.
I
stop now. We need some sense. You know what I mean? Just be quiet, Mr. Bean. Like literally, right? We need to do that. What is that noise?
It's you. It's the Hoover again. You can hear it.
It's my air conditioning, you guys.
Yeah, I knew it weren't me. I knew that was our use. I'm coming to Jess as well. We don't have aircon in England. You know what I mean? We just sweat it out. Right, Jess. Yeah. Where do you think Saul Niguez is gonna go? Do you think he's? I sat like what's his name does? Ram Saul, right? Niguez. Where do you think he's gonna end up?
It's a tough one, isn't it? I would say Liverpool. I feel like they desperately need a midfielder to replace Genie. It feels more like realistic for him to go there. It feels closer. I know Man United need a midfielder, but I'm just not sure that that's the one that you guys are going to get. You know, I still see like maybe a Ruben Neves being more of a clean fit for you guys versus Saul Niguez. So I would say Saul Niguez, whatever, he goes to Liverpool, you know, and then you'll see, Ram, that you didn't need Sabitzer. I mean, wow.
Offers
Yeah.
more.
I do
Offers
hear
more.
that.
Offers more.
Nabil here says Sal plays in a pivot, so he can play alongside with Bruno and Pogba as a CDM. He can tackle the ball and dictate the play. Replacement for Pogba is BS. Well, the replacement for Paul Pogba thing isn't BS. It's what's been reported by some of the most credible journalists on the planet. There may be a way of bringing them both in together, but Man United have got to weigh up their situation sensibly. And I think that's where, and I want to get Jem's opinion on this as well, I think that's where Liverpool have the advantage in this. I've said all along that Liverpool are the front runners for him. They've had more conversations. They've been in advanced talks a lot longer. They have nothing, but they have no chain. There's nothing blocking these things moving forward. They want him. They seriously want him. Definitely more than Sabitzer. Where do you think? For me, I finish my point and go to Jem. If Liverpool don't land him, it's a massive mistake from there. But if they allow Man United to slip into their slipstream and get ahead of them, and Man United land Saul Niguez in front of Liverpool, it's a gargantuan L. You know, they've been involved in this deal like actively for weeks now. It's been on for weeks. They haven't closed it out. I know they'll say we have a wage structure that we don't want to break. But you know he's on 300 grand a week. So you know he isn't going to take a 50%, 40%, 50%, 60% wage cut to join you. It's nonsense. You're going to have to pay him the going rate to get it done, because Man United may, over the course of the next few days, come in and start hunting. But Jem, from your point of view, where do you think he'll end up, mate?
I think that's where Man United, if they were interested in Saul Niguez, would slam dunk Liverpool completely. It's just the wages. I just don't see how Liverpool pay anywhere near that figure a week for Saul Niguez. I don't think you guys would. You're going like that. Who's your highest paid player in your team?
We wouldn't pay it up front, but where a lot of our players are on these performance incentive
How much
contracts.
are you getting paid? How much?
Thiago's on 200 grand a week.
Yep. Thiago and Van Dijk are on both 220 grand a week.
I don't see you signing Saul Niguez and paying him anywhere near 300k a week. I'm saying it straight up now. And if Man United
pounds,
see
not euros.
All right, fine. Anyway, if Man United see you guys even mucking around with this, because I still think Man United might be looking. I know they're looking maybe at a right back at the moment, but they do need to strengthen in the DM element. If they do get a sniff of it, then I think they will pull him. I think they will take him away from you. That's my honest opinion.
No, why does
you guys need to get
Liverpool
it
even
coming out.
start talking if they're not ready to pay the wages? Like, I just have this weird feeling about going into negotiations, starting to talk to agents, and you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like they would know about aroundish what Saul would want. And if you know right off rip, then you don't let it get this far. You don't let it get out. You know, you don't let yourself get embarrassed. Like, I just think there's a lot of groundwork that gets done before, and then, you know, you're ready to go. There may be a stretch for them, but at this point, in order for them to pull these players anyway, they're going to have to pay the wages. They have to make it work, right? You know, not saying Liverpool have to overpay, but they would know like how much he wants to get paid, wouldn't they?
You're bang on. You're bang on. The problem is, it's not a problem with Liverpool. Liverpool have a model, and I think if they sign him, he will sign and take a pay cut, and there'll be incentives. I think they can land him that way. But if Man United get their ducks in a row and go in for him before he signs and offer his full wage,
he's going.
then he's going to go to Man United, because Saul Niguez isn't picking his next club based on sentiment. To the point earlier about Martinez, he's picking the best club for him. But if he can earn £230,000 a week at Man United, or be offered 150 at Liverpool, I think he'll go to Manchester United. He doesn't want to lose. I know there'll be incentives, but he doesn't want to lose as a base nearly 100 grand a week. What idiot would want that? Like, legitimately, I would call him a fool to do that. So I think Man United can land him in front of them. The point is, though, I would say, Jess, is this. Liverpool will try. Not all Liverpool fans. Ram won't do this. Tom won't do this. But some Liverpool fans and some journalists will try and push it along the lines of Man United came in and paid silly money for him. It isn't silly money to match what he's earning now. If we came in and offered him £350,000 a week to stop him going to Liverpool, I would agree. But that isn't what's going to happen here if Man United get him. They're just going to match the current salary that he's on, or be in and around it. And I suppose Liverpool fans have got to look at one or two ways. Liverpool fans seem to be very accepting of the way their club operates, because it had yielded Champions League and Premier League success. But I don't know how sustainable their model is in terms of continuously challenging. I think you can do it Liverpool's way and build a very good team every 5 to 6 years. But once you've reached the pinnacle and you're up there, to maintain it, you need players that are ready to go straight away. They're more expensive. And also with Moneyball, like there comes a point again. I'll reiterate again in case anyone in the back didn't hear me. FSG and Liverpool will build another brilliant team that can win Premier League titles. There is no doubt about it in my mind. This team this year might be able to win Premier League titles.
But they don't. But they don't do it back to back, and that's the issue that they've got at the moment, isn't it?
But it's this thing of the champions of England and we're just the champions of Europe, and then you want to sign a brand new midfielder to replace Gini Wijnaldum, is one of the greatest midfielders in Premier League history for Liverpool. They're going to want to be paid accordingly. They're not coming in at the same stage Liverpool were at 5 years ago when it was a new project. That project is no longer new. Everybody knows what it yields, and it yields massive success. So they want to be compensated for that. It's why Liverpool's wage bill, even as a baseline, has grown by 40, 50 million pounds per year. But there comes a cut-off point. So I just think Liverpool fans have to brace themselves for deals like Saul Niguez not happening because they've not been prepared to pay upwards of it. But except that's just, listen, it's not that Man United paid extortionate money. Man United paid the going rate. We just don't do that. However, it will be twisted into Man United paid stupid money and we had to walk away. And they'll almost try and paint it in some moralistic working class reasons as well. And Tom's going to laugh because he knows exactly what they're going to do if they miss out.
You could go to any article of a player we've missed out on, find the first paragraph, copy it and paste it now, and just change player name for Saul if we miss out it. We have like a blueprint for it. Just the Moneyball method is good for building you up, but once you're built up, you need to change it and you need to act like a club that has the money, that has the pull power. That's where sometimes we struggle. That's why we haven't, until Klopp came in, we were never able to build on success we had, i.e. 2005, 2014. You'd always have down years afterwards. Yes, we had an FA Cup in 2006, but we were poor in the league, poor in the Champions League. We struggle. At the end of the day, when you come, once you're at an elite level, no amount of good players with the potential to be elite are going to help you in the short term. And once you're at the top level, you operate in short term. You don't operate in, 3 years' time, it'll be challenging for titles again. Now, when you're at the top, it's what can we do to win this season? What helps us win now? Because we've got players in 2 to 3 year spells who can help us win now. What do they need as an extra boost? What do they need to help them? And that's where sometimes we just seem to miss the groove. And which is why I'm even more scared when Klopp goes, because you lose a man who is one of the best in the world at getting them good players and making them elite. That
could expose the process further. And it's interesting, as I say, I look at it this way: it's if your process is brilliant and it yields great results, then there's no need to put any other clubs down in that process. You know, it's almost saying Man United are going to pay stupid money to get him. That's taking the focus away from what your club does. If your club just doesn't pay above X amount for players, just own it. But are Man United going to pay Saul Niguez above the going rate? No, it's just you're not prepared to go to that level. It's simple as that. Aidan here says, how many times have you lot watched them the last 2 seasons? I think you're obviously talking about Sabitzer and Saul Niguez. I watched Saul Niguez a fair few times, not as much this year. He hasn't been in the team as regularly. I just rated him over the years. I think he's fantastic. Gary Turner,
I've watched Sabitzer a lot, so
not too many times for me.
Yeah, like I do think he's good though. It's not that I don't think he's good.
Oh, I hear that. He's just not on Sal's level.
I never said he was better than Saul. I never said.
You didn't say that. You just wanted him. That's the difference.
I just want him more.
Stop. Yeah, but why would you want a player that's not better? Why would you want a worse player?
I think he has more
bro. Like you've done, he's trying to get out of it. You're not as good as he at getting out of tight gaps, bro.
He wants it because he thinks it's the FIFA thing, the chemistry connection.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not.
I've been questioning why you're so keen for him to move on. I've heard he has kidney problems. Listen, neither Liverpool or Man United are going to sign a player that has legitimate kidney problems. You know, if man's got sleeps in an iron lung or something. Like, do you know what I mean? He ain't coming to either of these football clubs. He won't pass a medical. But they're keen to move him on. Stoutness is set in. It's all it is. He's been at Madrid a long time. Stoutness. He needs to move on. He'll be rejuvenated wherever he goes. And at 35 to 40 million pounds, he's a snip. He's an absolute
money plays part as well. He's on 300 grand a week, 40 million. That's why there was reservations about the Griezmann trade, because they knew Griezmann wasn't gonna come down from 600 grand a week that he's on. So then it negates the whole point of trading it, because you're taking on the financial burden. And the kidney problems, I think it was he ruptured the kidney 5 years ago and missed a couple of games, and he's now back, but has to have the occasional treatment for it.
Yeah, it's mad. It's mad. We're gonna move on. Kieran Trippier to Manchester United. The transfer that's been going on all summer. Big noise before the Euros began. Man United submitted up, I want to say, £15 million bid, which was rejected. It is an official bid. It was rejected. You kind of knew that it would be rejected, but they were just trying to chance their arm, essentially. Kieran Trippier wants to come back to the UK. He wants to play for Manchester United. His family are looking at properties in and around the Cheshire area. And he is back in Madrid. He's going to training tomorrow. There are big reports that he's going to be having a conversation with Ati tomorrow about wanting to leave and expressing his desire to do so. What's been reported this evening, and I want to read this out word for word, essentially, so I don't get this wrong. First of all, Jonathan here, excellent journalist, Shrugger, says that Kieran Trippier will return to Madrid. He said this on Saturday, so he's returned to Madrid today, but it says tomorrow on the tweet, and will meet with manager Diego Simeone on Monday to discuss his situation. A further report that has been released and has come out over the past 12 hours or so, and I want to read this out so I get it right word for word. It says that Manchester United are making their move for Kieran Trippier. They have been given the green light from Atletico Madrid to speak with his representatives and talks around over a possible agreement on personal terms. Atletico Madrid expect talks with Man United over a fee if personal terms are agreed and okay. So it does appear that there is now some movement in that. But I want to pose it to you all outside of the transfer speculation. I want to go to Jess first on this. Do you see Kieran Trippier becoming a Manchester United player this summer?
Yeah, I do. It's still it's kind of a weird one to me because I don't really understand. I get Aaron Wan-Bissaka, people don't really like that. He doesn't go forward and all that kind of stuff. I'm not quite sure Trippier is that much better going forward in terms of overlapping and stuff. He's more of good deliveries and stuff like that. I do see it happening, but I question why not use that money to get a midfielder. If it came down to it, I'd probably address the midfield first, because it's not like Aaron Wan-Bissaka is horrible. He's just not great at going forward. But I do think it would happen, but I'm not sure it really makes you guys that much stronger. I really don't get it, I don't know. That's just me, though. I think Sancho needs somebody more like a Hakimi on his side, helping him out versus a Trippier. But that's just me, But I do see it happening. You guys really want to write back, don't you?
Certainly, I think we certainly want some cover.
And there's nothing standing in your way of getting this done. You're gonna have the money. They're gonna be willing to sell. He wants to go, but yeah. I guess you're in Champions League and all that, so you want 2 starting level right backs. But do either of them really fit the profile that you need? I'm not really sure. And is he cover? Or is he coming in to start? He's coming in to start, isn't he?
No. I don't know.
Coming in to start?
No,
maybe to tell us.
He's coming in to provide cover and
for both sides.
Both sides, cover injuries, and look, he'll come in. We're buying him for cover, but Kieran Trippier strikes me as the kind of man that's going to try and force his way into the team, which is exactly what Alex Telles tried to do, and the knock-on effect that had was absolutely brilliant. I think it also makes us more versatile when we want to play things like three at the back, and we want to have proper wing backs, because then you can have someone who can attack. So.
It's so funny. I just have to say that, I remember watching a show last summer when you guys got Telles, and you were saying that Telles was the best left back. You were getting him for so cheap. It was such a deal. I remember that. No, Terry. No. No.
I stand by everything that I said. What I didn't expect was to see Luke Shaw not only level up so much, but stay fit, because that boy would just get in every. You'd see him sprint 4 or 5 games into returning from injury, and he'd be then walking off holding that hamstring again. And Alex Telles is an excellent left back. That's why that is why he's already looking to move on again, because
the levels in which you were talking about him is not what you're saying now.
Barry, you're doing it, mate. No, he flopped. He flopped.
Can we talk about this?
He flopped.
How? No, he didn't flop. You don't flop. How did he flop?
Because he didn't play. He was meant to be better than Robertson, better than Tierney, better than Ben Chilwell. He didn't do anything.
Because Luke Shaw kept him out the team.
Exactly, he couldn't get in the team.
No, but if he was good enough, he would have got ahead of Luke Shaw.
The way you were talking about Manchester United have done the best
What happened to
deal
Mr. Whippy 99?
summer.
Mr. Whippy 99. What
99, Mr. Whippy.
Deliveries, all these goals and assists. I remember this.
Actually mad. It's crazy. I actually can't believe you're literally trying to twist it into Luke Shaw was the best left back in Europe last season.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
I've been waiting to bring that up.
Why though? It's not even like
he was meant to be better than everyone.
Because the way you were talking about him was not, he just pushed Shaw, he's gonna push Shaw. No.
Start. Yeah, I remember,
So do you know what? Then this is where your criticism is the wrong way around. Your criticism shouldn't be you were wrong about Telles. It should have been you were a fool to not have faith in Luke Shaw. That's where I was wrong, because I didn't see this coming from Luke Shaw. Alex Telles is still as good as Alex Telles was. Luke Shaw's just gone to another level, and I think that was because he was being pushed. That level of competition is so key. It's why Liverpool's attack went stale, because none of them felt challenged for their positions, because the Vokarigi and the Hobbit weren't pushing them.
Why are we on Liverpool now?
He's moving into Liverpool. We can forget about Alex Telles. All right.
No, I'm not. I'm giving you a very tangible, very, very tangible. What's the word I'm looking for here? Example as to what Alex Telles did. If Alex Telles was no good, or wasn't of the standard, i.e., say, like a Brandon Williams, I don't think it would have pushed Luke Shaw onto that next level. That competition for places is key. When you're guaranteed to start, it's never a good sign. And it's why Man United have got better over the last couple of seasons, because our squad's got better. But it's just great. Yeah, I honestly, zero.
You gotta find that clip.
The expectations you put on him.
I was there.
He flopped. Simple. Simple. Like money
simple. How?
You said he was going to be better than Robertson.
Yes, but he didn't get the chance to be because Luke Shaw wasn't kept him out,
or he just wasn't good enough to start.
There wasn't even any rotation in it.
Hang on a second. See, your example there, Ram, doesn't stack up, because he wasn't good enough to start because Luke Shaw's levels were the best in the league. You don't drop the best left back performing in the league and see whether Telles is going to be good enough or not.
If this player was meant to be better than...
Stop talking and answer the question and don't deviate. If you've got, take away from left back, the best performing striker in the league, would you drop him to give someone that isn't proven in the league a chance? Yes or no?
Depends on who's
no. Yes, you've got. Hang on. So this we'd use Firmino. Firmino next season. It's December. You sign a new striker this summer. Say you sign Danny Ings back. I'm going to throw Danny Ings in, and you're like, Danny Ings is going to kill it. He's going to score more goals than Firmino. If Firmino's on 35 goals come Christmas, and that's a lot, 35 goals, he's killing it, best striker in the league. Are you going to drop it? Do you want him dropped so that Ings can play to prove you right? Hush your gums, we move on. There we go.
Your Telles was meant to be better than Robertson. I didn't see none of that. He flopped.
Because Luke Shaw was.
He flopped like a salmon, bro. Just accept
you are
it.
Embarrassing yourself. Please stop.
Accept it. No, he flopped like a salmon.
Why are you embarrassing yourself, Ram?
What do you mean? He flopped like a salmon. Telles was crap. He was dog. He was dog.
You can say the same about Thiago.
Actually,
as well,
I don't even know how he played.
I was waiting for that. You don't open the door to the Thiago debate.
Thiago wasn't good. What?
No, wait a second. Thiago's more of a flop than Telles because he actually started games and he was still flopping.
And so is Ziyech. He's more of a flop than Thiago. We could do this all the way around, bro.
Ram. So you're telling me a player's a flop if he can't get into a team in front of the best player in that position in the league, one of the best in Europe, one of the best in the world, that makes him a flop?
If the expectations were to be better than Robertson and all the other best stuff,
in my opinion, he would have been if Luke Shaw weren't performing so well.
Right. Okay.
logically,
If anything, he elevated Luke Shaw into a better player, so it actually worked out for him.
listen, it worked
It
out.
worked out. All I was saying was that I just remember that time where you were saying it, and it was so funny because I was like, he's not all that, and then he didn't even really like play. I don't even think he was trusted by Ollie. I think he had to talk to Luke Shaw and say, "You need to step it up because this guy's no good."
Of course he didn't play, but at the end of the day, I'll give you an example. You just signed Ben White, right? Let's say Ben White don't start the season because he's got a niggle, right? But then it's Mari and Gabriel, say 10 games, and they are elite, world class. You wouldn't expect Ben White to go into the team because why do you break up something that's working? That isn't then Ben White being crap. That's the players that are there performing. Try and twist that into Ben White being crap is such a stretch. Nice attempt, Ram, but you've embarrassed yourself 3 times tonight. Bitsa. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. I can't believe it. I've never heard anything so mad in my life. Never heard anything so mad in my life. We have a super chat here that says Neves would fit United's system and style more, but getting Saul from under Liverpool's nose would be effing amazing. I'd rub it in so much, is what Malik says there. Let's just see a few more of these comments coming in. Someone here says, "Stop it, Terry. It's embarrassing." I don't really get what it is. Terry, admit you're wrong. Oh, they're coming for me tonight. Yeah. Honest to God, I'll just say this, address the audience quickly. There's no sense of feeling wrong because my other left back turned it into the best left back in the league. So I'm happy.
The only other thing as well, quickly, can I just say, they didn't buy him for stupid amounts of money. They bought him for 15 million. You can't be a flop at 15 million pounds. I'm sorry. It's just not happening.
Flop for 25. Okay, cool.
Oh, shut up, Ram. You tell it. Nah, I'm not
you
having
spent
it.
50 on... See, okay, I'm not getting involved in this anymore.
See, I would understand if you buy a player at any club and they play a lot of games and they don't perform. I think it's fair to call someone like that a flop, like as you were doing, as you were doing with you. What was it you were calling Kai Havertz last season? Ramshay Havertz. That's what you were calling. Right, and Tiny Wiener for Timo Werner. That makes kind of sense. If Timo Werner would have come in as a striker, but Tammy Abraham last season leveled up and scored 45 goals, and Tammy barely played because of that, it wouldn't be fair to call Werner a flop. That isn't what a flop is. A flop's someone that's been given ample game time and hasn't delivered, not someone that can't break into their team because there's a better player in front of him. And we're not talking about better at a minuscules like micro penis level. We're talking about the best performing left back in Europe last year. The guy that helped take England to a Euros final and scored in it. Like, honestly, mate, it's the worst take you've ever. Honestly, you're rolling like. Remember Zayn that used to come on, that weird Liverpool fan. You're rolling like a madman tonight, bro.
Okay.
Honestly.
Okay.
Madness, my brother.
I think this transfer window's getting to Rams's head. That's what it is. No signing. Struggling to get players in. He's just.
Shut up, Jeff. Man. Shut up.
He's struggling, man. He's struggling.
Shut up.
It's crazy. But there we go. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting season. We had another super chat that came in here. What's just say here? Someone here said that makes Thiago a flop. So a few people are throwing that in there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a few comments in there. Hang on a sec. Sorry, I was actually itching my leg while I was reading there. There's a super chat. I'm trying to find it. It says Tellers is Brazilian international. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, did he go Copa America? I didn't watch any of the tournaments. I have no idea who's in the squads.
I didn't see him.
Zero interest, to be honest with you. Terry, of course I'm right. You know, Terry spoke for
course.
Do you know what I mean? It's
put up the comments where people are saying something different. He's picking and choosing the ones.
No echo chambers. I'm not doing that.
In the comments earlier on, I got a go. Someone had to go at me for stuff Rams was saying. Said Tom, shut up. I haven't said a word about the entire thing.
To be fair though, Terry, we did do an analysis of all of the left backs that were signed. I was there as well, KJ, and we did kind of put Tellers as the pinnacle based upon statistics and what he had done at that time.
I stand by it. If he just didn't get a chance to play because Luke Shaw was so bloody good, and it's crazy, and we'll see what happens this year. Do you know what I mean? But it's not with them two, just with players that all of our clubs bring in. It's just it's an interesting one. But I never heard anyone call my flop. Maybe that's why I'm a little bit shocked. But anyway, there's a comment here saying Tellers did flop from EE. But there we go. Make sure you've smashed that like button, ladies and gentlemen. I feel a bit weirded out by this conversation.
Sorry.
Ty here says, Tom, you're a cheat, and I hope Liverpool get relegated. That's an interesting one.
What have you done?
I've said nothing of the sort.
I think it is, Tom. I think it's your face, mate. Because they just keep coming.
I was sat here relaxing, watching that debate go on, not putting in my 2 pence, and I'm the one who's been had a go at here. This is awful. This.
Yeah, there we go. So
I was the one who backed Saul as well. I went the one with the outlandish claim Sabitz is better. I backed Saul. This is
you want a Coutinho replacement, bro, but I'm confused. I'm confused
with you Liverpool fans. That's what I'm confused about, man. News are some weird
people are saying they want like a Coutinho kind of player. Some people just don't want something else. I don't, the guy fits everyone.
A Coutinho replacement wouldn't be a bad thing. A left winger wouldn't be a bad thing because that's what Coutinho was.
And he also played in the midfield as well. You do realize that, yeah?
Yeah, but Coutinho, his best year was on the left wing. So if my Coutinho replacement,
it was 2017-18, bro.
Yeah, when he played on the left wing.
No, he played in the middle.
No, he played on the left wing. He had one game.
Mane, Salah, and Firmino played.
We're not getting. This is a group chat conversation, not a live streaming on the football terrace in front of all these hundreds of people. The super chat from Aidan Andrews. It says, compare Robertson and Luke Shaw last season. What, statistically?
What? Luke Shaw was better than Robertson.
I think he was. We won't do that today, right now, because we're coming towards the end of the show. But I think on stats, it'll be fairly close. But it was just the performances from him and then what he did with his country as well. Coast to Cow here says, Terry, my guy. I need to ask you, Donny James, when you're talking to your friends in Doncaster, do you use phrases like "my guy"? Is that that does sound like a Doncaster type phrase? I've noticed on socials this last year, and I do think it's good and bad at the same time. People can be from real regional parts of the country that have a very specific way of talking, but then they put on when they tweet and speak, they put on their tweets and their worded conversations sound like they're from me, like a council estate in the East End of London. Like I saw this guy, he must be about 50, right? He keeps writing UNA, on his tweets now, all of a sudden. And I'm like, bro, you don't need to do that to impress people, man. Just speak how you speak. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what you're saying, Doncar. Just be like, all right, Chuck, or whatever it is you say. Do you know what I mean? Speak like a Northerner. Like Tom speaks like a Scouser and he writes like a Scouser. It's good. Sam is a middle class, privately educated man. He writes and talks like it. Waffle. Max here says the man out of Spurs, but you can't take the Spurs out of the man. No, they're not losing to Lille, are they? They're not losing to Lille.
They're
champions. They already lost.
Lille champions
without Botman as well. So yeah, he's a bottom dog.
Can't be a real game. That must be a friendly.
Nah, it could be French Super Cup.
Oh, no, it's Super Cup. They lost.
Really?
Fuck my boots. They lost. I mean,
he's a bottler, man. The bottler is back.
I swear that.
Go on.
What?
I was gonna say, I swear that the Lille manager's gone. The one that won the league.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm mistaken.
I didn't know that, but that ain't my point. They just lost to Lille. And Lille haven't. I don't know if Lille have got their best players playing. To be fair, because
they have. I just saw their back line.
Well, Burak Yilmaz up front.
That's centre back.
Hang on, guys. I mean, just with PSG, they've still got Neves, Hakimi played, Kimpembe, Herrera, Pereira, Draxler. They've still got a lot of their players. Genie came on from the bench.
Nah, it's embarrassing, Terry. It's embarrassing.
Oh, it's terrible.
Don't disrespect Lille like that. They're the champions of France, mate. That's what I'm saying, isn't it? They're new champions.
No. Whenever PSG lose a game, it's the most embarrassing. They've spent more on their team than the rest of the league combined. It's not even like in the Prem. Yes, City and Chelsea spend a lot of money, so do Man United. But you'll still get teams in 8th place spend £100 million in the summer. Do you know what I mean? It isn't like they've all got money. It's crazy. Comment here. Jess has a lot of audacity speaking about fullbacks when you have Hector Bellerin, YouTuber and model, and Xhaka with a new contract. Laughing emojis.
I do.
Oh, wow.
I do. Yeah. Sorry. I mean,
Don't need to
if
apologize.
I had to be quiet because Arsenal was doing horribly, then I would never speak. So yeah, I do have a lot of audacity.
Why? You should
Sorry.
be proud. You got Tierney, apparently the best left back in Scotland.
He
Oh,
is.
Ram, stop it, man.
He's
no,
he's actually
no,
he is.
no,
What is wrong with you
no.
today? Why do you keep coming out?
No. I'm not having
Baby,
this.
man.
I'm
He's
sorry.
a baby. What's wrong with you? Why are you a baby?
The only person that I fight for is Kieran Tierney. That's really it. Like
Yeah,
everybody else,
Brave
it's
heart.
And
like
he's a bum. He's a
True
bum.
Braveheart, man.
He's a
a
brick.
bum.
If
A bum, a brick.
the word of double
Okay.
H, he's a brick. He's a brick.
Oh, okay. Well, he's not, but okay. I mean, Robertson is good. I just think Tierney's better.
I mean,
wow.
see, you're going a bit outlandish there because Robertson
I'm
actually
not.
plays left back. Robertson actually plays left back for his country. Tierney's actually chucked it left centre back so he can actually play. The best player plays in the best position.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's
He's close, but he's
Words out of my mouth, literally.
okay.
He's not there, but he's
Okay.
good.
Anyway, Gunner Kings, Rams man. Oh, Rams man. I beg you allow
beg
it.
you
No, why? Jesse's chat is so much was about our club, and they're 8th. No,
I haven't. What do you mean? The only thing I
the last stream. No, I've been building this up. The last stream, you talk so much was about Trent Alexander-Arnold, my right back, and now you're having a go at Robertson. No. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you.
Why are you so,
coming for me?
Ram, why are you so triggered?
Yeah.
Play it. I don't mind. Play it. We just end it here. Like this.
All right. Liverpool. Ain't signed anyone.
Listen, bro. I mean, you've been in the mood all night. You've been on the attack tonight. Now you're going after Jess. Like that is. By the way, that is not football terrorist mantra. We know that's one of the no-nos here. You know the rule you broke, right?
What, going after Jess?
No, going after Jess is fine. Jess is a grown woman. She can take people criticizing her.
What?
It's you can't talk about my club because your team's below us in the league. That's a football terrorist no. Like we don't.
No, you can't do that,
that is for the key stage 1, like
but
basic bitch channels. Like no, you can't speak about us because we're top. Like there's a hierarchy. It's like
no, she could talk about us, but
well, no, she can't.
Slander.
I don't remember saying anything about Trent.
Yeah, we basically just said that he's not generational, and Ram sulked about it. He's not generational, but we'll talk about that another day.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that one?
I mean, you called him
That's why.
overrated, Jess.
He's not generational talent. He can do it anyway. I don't want to get into it.
I mean, if I did say that, I don't apologize. Because if I said it, I probably meant it, but I don't remember saying it. But yeah,
You didn't
sorry,
say that.
Ram.
I actually said that. That was me. Actually, you did say it in the chat as well, but I was saying
I
it.
had a go at you, Jam. You already
Yes,
dealt with.
it's not. I ain't dealt with. I know why he's not
you dealt with,
generational.
mate.
I'm not going on about it now.
There we go, guys. Comment here that says Terry. Any Harry Kane updates? Not really. There was a report today that I've read 2 reports today. One saying they're going to pull away. The other saying they're going to Harry Kane is going to push hard for the move when he returns to training this week. I think this week could be a very big week for Harry Kane in terms of the news that comes out because he's back from holiday. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see a lot of the Euro players all back this week as we gear up for things. As I said, we're going to start building up from next week to the Premier League. We're going to do some individual shows on each of our clubs. We're going to do a big group discussion where we're going to be doing our predictions over the course of the week. The team, like last year, are going to be predicting their top 6. And their champions, their player of the year, and their flops of the year as well. We will then give them a chance at the end of the window to readjust that. But we're also going to be introducing to you our new FPL league, our new fantasy league that's come in with our brand new partners that will be announced this week. If you enter our league, if you choose to play in our league, you can win. If you win the league, you win £200,000 cash. And we will, with our partners, be giving away in total across 6,000 of the league participants, £1 million in cash prizes. That is 1 million proper pounds, proper cash not a voucher, not a discount code, a restaurant you're never going to go to. £1 million across 6,000 of our users with a £200,000 grand prize to the winner of the Fantasy League. So yes, 200K, 100%. If you choose to opt in and choose to play in it, it's going to be a lot of fun and we'll be announcing that and probably doing a show on that around Thursday. So make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribing. And we are actually talking to the company this week. And we're going to maybe doing a little bit of a nice promo offer for it when it comes to our members. So some of our members will get some entries into that as well. But it's going to be very, very fun indeed. If you like doing fantasy leagues, do our one because you can actually win some life-changing money. Everyone who's been on tonight, thank you very, very much indeed. Tom, thank you very much. Tom won 200 grand up in Liverpool. What could you could buy Liverpool?
I could pay a weaker Saul Niguez wages, which is all. That's where it goes straight on.
You do a lot with that. Yeah, that'd be good. Ram, Ram, you need a nice cold shower, I think, my friend, to calm down.
I'm all right. I'm good.
You need a little Tommy tank, mate. I think you need a little
I'm happy to be back.
Have a little Tommy tank. Calm yourself down. Do you know what I mean? Watch a bit of Netflix. Jem, cheers for coming on, my brother. Looking forward to meeting up next Saturday, ladies and gentlemen. Is the official Football Terrace meetup. We're all meeting up properly for the first time. Of course, Tom can't come because he's busy. Ram actually can't make it because he's busy. Jess is in LA. Jess doesn't want to fly over. She said no.
She don't like us that much, she said, but it's cool.
She's like London. She said,
Next time, guys.
Really good. Jess, thank you very much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Love causing little problems and walking away slowly as I watch you guys burn. It's nice. It's real nice. And I learned today that Ram has an agenda against me. So we'll continue this later.
He had an agenda last year quite a lot against Anita as well. I'm sensing a theme here. Like,
don't you dare say that! Don't you? I have an agenda against David as well. I have an agenda against KJ. I have agendas against everyone.
Anyway, listen, maybe it's the ladies thing. Do you feel like more comfortable challenging ladies other than men, Ram?
No, I can happily challenge Jem over there.
Challenge me about what? You lose every time. I buried you ages ago, man. All of it. Yeah? Don't worry about it.